If you're a business owner and you're running out of time trying to manage and delegate tasks to your team by just remembering them off the top of your head, or maybe you don't have a system for tasks right now, well, in this video, we're going to be covering how you can become a superstar with an epic task management system. Today, we're talking about task management systems, and I want to share with you why it's so important to get away from your whiteboard or your paper notes or whatever system you have going on up in your head in delegating things to your team and getting into a proper shared task management system. Now, when we think about tasks in our business and when we approach this with customers, we really think of this as more than just delegating individual tasks to your team, but actually having a workflow system for your business. And a workflow system for your business means that this becomes part of the actual business. It becomes part of the workflow of how things are actually done. What that means is that when you're creating a business system, you as the founder or leader or business owner should be able to step away and let the system run itself. So that's the kind of frame with how I approach this. Now let's start talking about some of the ways where I would use criteria-wise to choose a different task system. I want to help you make a really good decision when you're choosing the task system that is going to be right for your business. Now, for me, number one, most important is the user interface. And what that comes down to is what is the experience of using this online when you're sitting at a computer, but also when you're on a mobile device as well. So it needs to be simple and it needs to also have a balance of having powerful features as well, which is not quite a seesaw, but try and think of that as a collaboration between ease of use and also, convenience and power as well. For me, I like something that's obviously running in the browser. I don't think you can get task management systems that need to be installed anymore these days, but it also needs to have a pretty good mobile app too. For me personally, I've got all my notifications switched off. The only thing that will get through to me on the mobile is chat, so my team can chat to me, or number two is this task system. And I use a task system so that I can keep up to date on projects or anything that I need to follow with my team. If the system is not easy to use, people are not going to use it. All right, so let's get into the actual task management. And I want to talk about managing your own tasks first. So when you manage your own tasks, you need to have something that's going to work better than notes on your phone, better than sticky notes on the front of your computer, better than writing something down in pen on your hand. I don't know if people still do that these days, but you need to have something that is going to work for you. And for me personally, I like using an online system because it means that no matter what device I'm using or no matter where I am, I've got all my tasks with me. Now, the aim of the game for a business owner is to, as much as possible, delegate and be passing tasks on to other people in the business. Absolutely recognize that. But you are going to have things that your team are going to want from you. Now, me personally, I try as much as possible to train my team to put requests for me into our task system. And what that means is that I'm not going to be bombarded with questions during the day. For the most part, I'm no longer operational in my businesses, but even when I was acting as CEO, I didn't want to be interrupted all day long with questions and tasks coming from my team. And so having a task system allows me to triage on my own time. And that's what it gives you for yourself, but also for your team as well. When you have an effective task management system, everybody gets to triage their own tasks rather than being interrupted all day long. Now, the next most important thing is the actual team management. How do you get tasks and projects done together? How do you see what other people are doing in the company? How do you see how your teammates are going on a project? How do you manage or lead and follow up on your team members' tasks if you're actually in the position of managing people getting stuff done? And what does that look like in terms of the actual tools? If you're using a system, it should probably have some way of visualizing your tasks or visualizing your projects, maybe with a timeline or a Gantt chart of some sort. Maybe it has a calendar feature that you can use to synchronize with a calendar or see your tasks based on the due date that they have as well. These are all really important when you start to work on tasks and collaborate with team members, particularly if you're working remotely, as many business owners are since the pandemic. Now, you also probably want to have the ability to cross-link tasks and also have task dependencies as well. And what that means is that you can start to have more intricate structure in the way that you're structuring and putting together your different projects and who's assigned to things. What tends to happen in a business is when you actually really use a task management system properly, you end up with a lot of things because you have lots of different responsibilities for the different people that are in your business. And so what that means is that you want to start to build out structure in your tasks, probably some repeatable tasks. So you might want to use something like task templates And also you want this to be able to have some kind of reporting function so you can have it all roll up to your leaders and your managers so they can see what's happening right across the business. Finally, it's important to make sure that for your team, you have time recording available as well. And that may be via a third-party integration or actually built into your task management software. Actually managing and planning for the resourcing on your teams, on your projects, is very important, and making sure that you have the right amount of team members and you're tracking the profitability of your projects and what you're delivering is all a part of choosing the right system for you. So why would you use a dedicated system over just doing tasks on email or tasks in chat, which we see many businesses doing? For anyone who's using Gmail or maybe Slack, what we've seen many times is business owners will just forward an email and assign that as a task to someone just in their email inbox, or they'll send a blanket email out to team members and ask them to do things, or they'll jump into chat in something like Slack or even Messenger or WhatsApp groups and just start delegating things from there. The problem with using email for task delegation is that you've got business tasks mixed in with all of your communication from those in and outside the business. And what tends to happen is if someone is trying to get their work done, they end up in their inbox all day long. And if you're creating a culture in your business where your team are being taught that they're expected to be in their inbox waiting just in case you send them any tasks, well, they're going to be stuck in their inbox all day, probably not being very productive. And I've got other videos on managing your inbox properly. So I like to have a rule where we say no tasks in email, and we don't actually use any internal emails at all because we effectively use our instant messaging in Google Chat, and we effectively use our task management system in Asana. The problem with instant messaging or any kind of chat application is that you're effectively standing up in the middle of an office and yelling out to everyone what you need done. Everyone sees it, and there isn't really a way of easily assigning urgency anytime you're asking something in chat. Effectively, you're walking up to someone's cubicle or office and you're knocking on the door and saying, "Hey, are you free right now?" And what that means is that you're constantly interrupting team members when you're delegating and assigning tasks. Again, I come back to the word triage. If you use a task management system, then you're not interrupting everyone by assigning tasks because they all have their own opportunity to triage the tasks that have been delegated or assigned to them, respond to them accordingly, and prioritize it themselves. And that's going to allow your team to work a lot more productively and on their own terms with their work, rather than being constantly interrupted. Now, I know for you as an entrepreneur, that may be challenging because you're probably having a million ideas a minute on new creative ways to grow and support your business. But for your team to be productive, you need to train yourself to not be interrupting them all day long. And this is a great way of getting those ideas down, shooting them off to your team, and then having your team come back to you at the appropriate time to complete the tasks. Now, all tech systems work better with friends, and that's why I think it's very important to consider the integrations available for any task management system that you may choose for your business. We love using tools like Zapier to connect different apps together, and so if someone fills out a form on my website, we might have a task created in our system. If someone ticks off a project and completes something, I might want to have that automatically posted inside my team chat so we can congratulate the team. All kinds of automations are available, including adding additional time billing options or adding even invoicing options to a task system. And those integrations should be considered when you're making a choice. If you're trying to make a choice on different technology systems for tasks, well, you've got a whole heap of options right now. Businesses out there like Trello, Asana, Monday, ClickUp, Wrike, Teamwork are just a few of the most popular task management tools that can be used for teams. Never as now, it's been such an important time to have your team connected, particularly with everyone working remotely and businesses becoming more flexible in the way they work. Now, we chose to use Asana for our internal task management, and that's our strong recommendation for our customers. We've got a number of videos on why we chose to work with Asana internally for our business, but also why we started recommending it to customers. And we're now a global partner for Asana and an implementation partner if you're interested in getting started with that system. We also have some pretty cool discounts available and other options which may not be available to the general public if you're interested. So drop us a line if you'd like to chat. No matter what system you choose, and there are plenty out there to make a choice, you want to ensure that you're making great technology decisions in your business. And if you haven't already seen my video on specifically that, on the framework and the mindset that you need to make great technology decisions, well, I'd recommend you also watch that video before making a final decision. If you'd like some help choosing the perfect task system for your business, or you'd like a review of everything in your tech stack, well, go ahead and click on the link below and you can apply for a consultation with our team. If you're a new business owner and you've not yet checked out the rest of our channel, or our growth roadmap, well, we take you through each different stage of business and what technology is most important to implement and have right as your business grows and progresses. If you're a subscriber to Google Workspace, we've got a pretty amazing offer for you to transfer your billing to us and get a bunch of free goodies for next to no effort. If you're interested in that, there's also a link below. But if you like this content, give us a thumbs up and we will catch you in the next video. Cheers.